I think that descriptors from red pillars are often fine. Like descriptions of what's going on is fine. I think that most of the time they come out with prescriptors, they're terrible and stupid and kind of retarded. So like when guys are saying, sleep with multitudes of women to like experience a level up, I think that that's dumb. I think if they're saying things like...
Do you think it works though?
No, it doesn't work.
You don't think women treat men
Who has access to that? Like this teeny tiny percentage of men, how's that going to help men in general?
Well, I'm not talking about men in general. I'm talking about like individual men. Like if they're trying it and coming back and saying that this helped them in their life, like you can't really argue with that.
Yeah, but I mean, you could say the same thing with heroin. You could say the same thing with crack, cocaine, whatever you wanted. I tried cocaine. It helped me in this portion of my life. It's like I still wouldn't give it as a prescription for people to do. Like,
yeah, but
when I was really down and out, here's an easy one. When I was really down and out after a breakup, I would drink way too much. That doesn't mean I would give that out as a prescription that men drink way too much after a breakup.
Yeah, but I don't really see it as like they're telling men what to do. I just think it's more like if you want to do this, this is how to do it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
but that would, again, be a descriptor instead of a prescription. It's the guys who give it as a prescription. Or the pickup dating artist community does this a lot.
Yeah, like live how I live.
Yeah, here's the various prescriptions or what society should be doing or things like this. That's where they run afoul, but a lot, and you got to take some of the descriptors with a grain of salt too. They're not always true. The pair bonding studies aren't always true. There's lots of stuff you got to be careful about.
I just think like anecdotally though, I think most men, like women just tend to abuse men when they know that they're their only source of sex. And that's where the problem comes in.
Well, what do you mean?
Like women just have a tendency to not, like, I don't know. I see so many men where they're married and the wife knows that he doesn't cheat.
Yeah.
And she just does not appreciate his loyalty. And I see women where they think that the husband either could cheat or would cheat. And they just tend to treat him better.
Yeah, tend to behave better.
Yeah. And I think that's what I was saying where as much as you don't like it, I can see why.
Yeah, but can there be that luminous implicit threat without it ever even being stated? Like, I think there can be. And I think that those guys, a lot of those guys who can do that, they don't even bother saying, what do they need to say it for? It's well known that they can just do it.
You can't tell her.
Yeah, you don't need to tell her, right? It's not it's not important. So how is that? But how's that a prescription? There's such a small select few guys who can do that, who have.
Do you know what?
Yeah.
I think it's more common than you'd think. I met this guy the other day. He was like 5'7", overweight. He was showing me his rotation. It was like 5, 22, 23-year-old women.
Was he rich?
No, he was just a good talker. He was just easy to talk to. So I don't know if it's like, from what I've seen, the PUAs, I don't think they're always the most attractive, like, or rich guys. Like sometimes they're just charming.
Yeah, but they're also con artists, a lot of them. They're conning, right? Like they make that shit up. Like that guy John Anthony Lifestyle, total fucking con artist, just made it all up. And I've got an 8,000 body. It's like, shut up, dude. And then the guy tells me, he's like, I've never met a pickup artist in the world who hasn't done a tranny one or two. And I'm like,
that is disgusting.
I'm like, what, dude? What? He's like, yeah, I've never met one who hasn't. And I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure most of them don't. So the thing is like a lot of those guys are full of shit about their belt mark.
I've gone to events, like I've seen them take the women home, and a lot of times it's really not. It's not always the best looking guys. They're just charming. Like I don't.
No, I remain skeptical in this regard.
Yeah,
That
I mean
this
it's
is
fine. Like
available
one
for
of the
most people.
PUAs I met in like Vegas. I mean he was not attractive at all. I mean some are, right. Like a lot of, like a good amount are, but there's enough that aren't good looking that like you would. I'm surprised you would be surprised just from what I've seen.
Yeah, I mean I'm sure that there's going to be men who are exceptions to these rules. You know what I mean? But I don't think for the most part, it's available to most men to just be able to go sleep with whatever type of woman they want.
I know. It's just the challenge is there's just no incentive for men to be loyal today. Like, what do they get out of it?
Well, family. The family.
We're having like one kid each.
That's
women
true.
aren't really having kids.
That's
so,
true. But again,
and like there's no incentive. Like the wives cheat all the time.
Yeah, but there's also wives that don't cheat at all. So the key here is this: it's a matter of what
but you
people
can't
want.
verify that. You don't
You don't
know.
think every single wife cheats, do you?
I don't think every single wife cheats,
Yeah.
but like my point is if she does, there's a lot of avenues where he wouldn't even know.
There's a lot of avenues the other way too. I agree. Right, but I guess the point is
Like, I just
yes,
don't
it is.
see-
It is true if we average all of the children. Yes, it averages out to, less than 2 per woman. That's true. But that doesn't mean women are only having 1 kid. It just means that fewer women are having multiple kids and other women are having 0 kids. So it's like, yeah, there's still men who I want to see them have a family, have multiple children, and have a loyal wife. And yeah, I still think that's very possible.
It's like possible, but I don't know. I just talking to young guys, I think a lot of them don't really see that as happening for them.
Well, I think a lot of times they're
Like every trend is predicting it's not going to get better. It's going to get worse.
That's true.
Yeah,
and I agree that it'll get worse.
Like, yeah. And so it's like they could hope for that, but that's not a strategy,
Well, it is a strategy, though, when you start looking for what virtues are. Once men reallocate their idea of feminine virtue or female virtue, what I've noticed is that I get contacted by thousands of men all over the world. Like once I reoriented for what I considered feminine virtues to be, I started being very much more successful towards women who had held those virtues.
Yeah, but it's for now, right? I mean, you don't know how it's going to play out in
true.
10 years and 20.
But
like
that's everything.
a lot of women are virtuous for a period of time.
Yeah.
I mean, you just know it's tough. I think interviewing the men that were divorced kind of black-pilled me because I would just see women that in every, like, on paper were better than me in every way. They married younger. They were like more religious, and I'm like, they married at 20 or whatever, Orthodox, Catholic, whatever it is.
Sure.
Right. And they did like terrible, terrible things, like awful things.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, there's
There's also heavy societal influence telling them that it's perfectly acceptable for them to do those things.
Yeah.
We had a society not very long ago we can look to where the incentives were the opposite. Where if you did those things, there was very much social punishments which would come with them. Single motherhood was you were considered a pariah.
Right.
Things like that. That's no joke. Social enforcement works. If you think that we could not propagandize from top down again for social enforcement like we used to, I very much disagree. Every single war, every single thing that people believe right now all comes from top-down propaganda. And it's like you could do the same thing when it came to the dynamics of family and relationship, but women would have to do social enforcement towards pariahs like they used to.
Yeah, I don't think it would work.